Orlando Pirates beat Cape Town City by 2-1, and we're going to look at what they did in attack, what they did in defense, and importantly, how did they stop the counters that were trying to destroy them the whole game. I'm about to cook, so do make sure to subscribe to the channel. Starting with attack. Orlando Pirates started very well in the game because they had a situation. They were pressed with this 4-4-2 by Cape Town City, which is like a standard formation for pressing nowadays because teams want to ensure that they have width in the midfield line and also in the back line. And those two up front are just to make sure that the ball is not played into midfield. So Orlando Pirates had to overcome this. But this was not the only way that Cape Town City were willing to press. They also had this 4-5-1 in their low block. That is to say, when they were close to their box. But that was not the only way that they wanted to set up because they also had another 5-4-1 block. And the key player here in making sure that they are blocking like that would be Petrus, who is highlighted over there, who was the one who was going to move between the center back and also being a midfielder. So yeah, so what did Pirates do? Well, then they turned to a man by the name of Ushando Umtia, and his role was to basically be between the left back and the left center back. So his role basically is to make sure that the left back is occupied and is running towards his own goal rather than coming to the winger. In this case, we are going to talk about the role of Tito. But as you can see, those two men are now occupied by Ushandu because he occupies that position between them. It's not giving them width, nothing. He is just there in between them. And in him doing this, what then ended up happening is that you would see that whenever Pirates were playing from this side, Umfana Luaga Mabasa would then be able to be 1v1 with a defender in terms of being marked because, you know, usually they will send two people to mark him, but this time around, since one is already being occupied by Ushandu, now he had to basically say, one must go and help the left back, but the other one was going to be the one remaining on Umabasa. So what then would happen is that Pirates will try and play these balls in behind, and when they try to cross the ball in, Umabasa would be able to get into the ball, although he wasn't clinical in the first half. You see also as well that Shandu essentially looked like a second striker. And if the left back neglected Ushandu, he would then have to approach whoever was playing from the wing position. And in doing that, now he has left that whole space. Ushandu is now free and he can now receive the ball from that area. And you'd see Abotito trying to play the ball to him. And also this thing that I'm highlighting right now, which is the shooters, we're going to go back to it later on in the video. So there it is. You have Maswanganyi crossing the ball into the box, and again you see left center back occupied by Ushandu, right center back occupied by Umabasa. And this is very good because what strikers want is to have at least one person marking them, not two. So this was working very well for them. And this is what I like about Pirates. The short spaces that they have. Look at Mfukeng. He goes towards the ball. And also you see here Makaula also is moving towards the ball so that they make sure that when the person that is in your team is playing a pass, they have an available option. You see Urele again here coming closer to the ball, not just trying to say I'm a winger so I should give you width. And you also see here Hoto is about to do the same thing. He sees that the ball is being progressed to the final third, so he makes the movement towards the final third. And when that happens, they play that 1-2 with Mabasa, and now those 1-2 combinations that we also saw against Ibaroka, they were then able to do those things. Now, Tito and Rele essentially swap roles. Not really, because since it's so packed in midfield, as we talked about earlier, City were packing the midfield. So right now they have 5. Right in midfield, you have 2 who are the forwards, and then you have 3 midfielders, and the other one is wide at this point. So essentially what Pirates did, they just took Utito wide, and Utito will then be able to carry the ball. And Urele will be still in midfield, and we'll talk about why specifically later on. But with Tito being wide, now this means there's a danger man who is roaming out wide. And that would mean now Cape Town City has to come across. And in them coming across, they usually be between the transitioning to, hey, let's mark Utito, he's out wide. Then there would be those gaps between the last line of defense and also just between the wide players and the midfielders. And then Abotito would be able to play those passes. And then Urele from midfield will then make those late runs into the box. And that's how Pirates were penetrating as well. But since Cape Town City were packing the midfield with like a lot of players, you can see that ECT is there, Pirates is also there. Pirates realized we can't play the ball here as much as there's a lot of us in this midfield, but we have to go wide. So they did. They had Uhoto giving them width on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side it would be Van Rooyen. So then they would try to play these passes in behind the defense of Cape Town City and penetrate the box. But it just wasn't working, was it? And then when the ball was forced and they played the ball centrally, you see that there were a lot of City players who were just there to win the ball back and then start counters from those situations. If we then look at Orlando Pirates, which is the tactic that I've said before, they want to shoot. It's not like a desperate attempt. They shoot because they want to. So here we go. Orlando Pirates wanting to shoot. Look at the players who are outside the box of Orlando Pirates. There is two. In this case, you have Umbata and you have Urelebuhile Mfukeng. Right? Two players outside the box ready to receive a market back. And as you can see, with Cape Town City knowing that Orlando Pirates have shooters outside the box, what then you see here, you can see that the two frontmen of Orlando Pirates, if you wish, Ushandu rather is a winger, but in this case is occupying the center backs. Now they have those 1v1 duels that they can contest for with the defenders. Why? Because on the left you can see the person is focused on Van Rooyen. You can also see that Petrus as well is focused on Riveiro gets the ball, and you can see also Mokocho and they are focused on Umbata. What if he gets the ball? So now you see that the box is just an equal number of Pirates players and Cape Town City players, which is exactly what they want. They want to isolate their strikers with the least number of defenders in the box. So what did happen in these situations? Well, in some cases, Orlando Pirates were then able to, as I said, target and try to play the ball into those two men in the box. And if it did come off, which usually it just didn't, because Cape Town City were planning for this. Again, you see different people here. You see Maswanganye this time around and Bata. But the point is, there is going to be two people outside the box of Cape Town City at any given moment to try and make those shots. And you'll also see that when they do get in, they do try to shoot. Even Abu Makaula, if they arrive in those areas where you're supposed to shoot, they will shoot. And you also see this other thing. You have Ebola with Ukogi, and that width again that is given by Makaula out wide, and then the ball will be played to him, obviously. And it's a crime to have Urele Mfukeng in such a huge space. If you're a serious team, you cannot give that boy space. But guess what? They just let him roam alone, and then he gets the ball, and then he tries to place it, but the keeper saves it. Once again, you have Pirates going forward. Guess what's happening? Outside the box, there are exactly two players who are ready to pounce on any second balls. By the way, someone I know could argue that, hey, they are doing this because this is part of their rest defense. They're trying to make sure that if they do lose the ball, they are then able to counter press and do things. Okay, I can't argue with that, but at the same time, Pirates are just notorious these days for this tactic of attacking and trying to shoot. And then Maswanganye got injured, which I think is not good news for Pirates fans, because I think that there's been a lot of talks about certain things that Tito does. He does lose the ball a lot, but then again, he does keep the ball a lot because Pirates are expecting him to do the things. So a lot of the responsibility falls on his shoulders. So for someone to just say, Tito, what, it's not fair. So for him to be then injured, I can tell you now, that's not a good thing for Pirates. So they made subs, Maswanganye out and Makaula out, and Musele came on. And this is where the game actually Nkota as well. This is where the game also got interesting, because the coach of Orlando Pirates did not necessarily change the tactics after this, but what he did was to basically enhance the tactics from the first half. As you can see in this picture, you have every Cape Town City player marking someone except for Petrus there in the middle, but everyone else is just marking everyone. But then, if you have brilliant players like Urele Mfukeng, they will identify that there are gaps or there's someone who's not marked. For example, this time around it's Nkota, whose assignment was very clear when he was brought on. Give Pirates width. And before we even get to him, so Van Rooyen has the ball on the right hand side. But look at Mfukeng, he identifies that, hey, everyone is just congested in that area where basically everyone is man marked. So he falls back, and then Van Rooyen finds him, gives him the ball, and then the play is switched to the left-hand side. And now Nkota has a lot of space. A player of quality of Nkota will do something with that. Will take the ball to his left. But before we even talk about that, what happened with the defending of Cape Town City here? Because, okay, we see, fine, Rele is going to get the ball on his own. He's a brilliant player. But once the ball is played here, there are a lot of mistakes that happen, right? So, for example, here, you could have Cape Town City players, one who's just standing on the outside of the box, go towards your box and make sure that you cut the pass, because obviously it's Nkota, he's left-footed. He's going to try and play a cutback. But the fear, once again, remember what we said, the biggest fear right now is what if he plays a cutback outside the box and there's someone to shoot? So perhaps that is why that defender stays outside the box and does not track back. But the immediate danger right now seems like it was that cutback, and then Mabasa, is a brilliant striker that he is, he tucks that away, obviously. Now, the role of Evidence Mahopa, he is a very important player, and that's why coaches like Abu Bruce appreciate him, because look at him. He's occupying Coutinho there, right? And look at what he does. He sees that the ball is going to come to him, and he drops, right, and drags a defender with him, and then there is a space that is now open behind him. Now he has to run towards that ball, and a lot of chaos ensues, and then it ends up being a corner kick, which then Orlando Pirates score. We will say that the Pirates did benefit here because this was an offside, but we are not there because Sundowns also benefited. So, I mean, fair is fair. Now let's look at how Pirates did in defense. Well, in defense, they didn't have much to do really, but when they did press, it was this 4-2-4 press, which is the most aggressive form of press that you will find in world football. And also, when they were pressing, you see 3 people versus 2, everyone just pushing everyone back, and this obviously naturally will force mistakes like these from the goalkeeper, and then Pirates just couldn't capitalize on this mistake earlier on in the game. But they are very aggressive in their press. They are not taking any prisoners, and they are trying to win the ball by all means necessary. And you can see that they were able to then turn over the ball and then try to start attacks from those situations. You see this other example as well. You see that in this case there are 3 players that you see, but the other one on top, Umfukeng, you can't see him, but he was basically occupying the right back, making sure that he does not receive the ball. Now, we need to talk about one thing that Orlando Pirates needs to fix. They had a very good game. They won it, and they created chances. The game plan was very clear. Counters. Orlando Pirates conceded. We will count with you how many counters that came against them. This is the very first counter. So Tito loses the ball, and this is the first counter. First 6 minutes, you have the Fantastic Four. So when I say Fantastic Four, there is Francis, there is Chichueza, there is Domingo, and Rhodes. All those 4 players were just assigned with, when we win the ball, we nick the ball from Pirate, we attack them. The 4 of you will be going forward, because as you can see, no one else is joining in. It's just those 4 making sure that they're giving Pirates hell. This is the first counter, 6 minutes. The second counter after 11 minutes, 5 minutes later, they win the ball from the corner, and then let's go. And then if you check again, you will see that it's the same players who are going up front, but this time around, Rhodes is driven wide and he fails to get there, and then Abokogi, they win the ball back and win the set piece. You see, once again, same 4 players. This is the second counter. Now, third counter after 18 minutes, City go again. They find that pass through, and let's go. You see, the Fantastic Four again at it. They are running at Pirates, and then luckily, not luckily, smart enough by their goalkeeper, he comes out to win that ball. Here's another chance again. This is the 4th counter on the 20th minute, and then this shot was just scuffed, and then it does not happen. So now this is the 5th counter. There had been 4 warnings. This is now going to be the goal. As you can see, the same 4 players are taking Pirates the same way. You have Chichueza, Francis, Rhodes, and then on the right side, Domingo. The order that they come in does not matter. The point is was always the 4 of them. And if I told you this is where it ended, I would be lying, because then there was the 6th counter. Again, Pirates lose the ball, and then let's go. But I don't know why Francis does not put his head up and look around, because it was a 2v1 in that case. And then this is the 7th counter. So can you see how many goals Orlando Pirates would have considered in this goal? Because this is once again another counter. Let's go. Who is there? The Fantastic Four, the same players that were causing trouble to Orlando Pirates the whole of first half. The ball is through, they just failed to correct the ball. Someone might argue this might have been a foul, but then second half came, and then Abu Sbis were like, no, we're not playing. We're definitely not playing, and they're winning the ball back by all means necessary. And you see once again, he got a yellow card to Sbisi there, by the way, and here it was going to be another counter, and then Uqog was like, no, that's just not happening. So I guess what we could say is the fact that Orlando Pirates did learn from their mistakes from the first half, which was we are conceding a lot of counters. So now what we're going to do is we're just basically going to tactically foul them. So it works. But what did you make of the game? And if you think I cooked, please do make sure to like the video. If you are new, subscribe to the channel.